Welcome back to Genshin Impact on my new laptop. I'm finally playing at 60 FPS, and we have this new game mode, which is a glorified artifact domain, basically, which gives 450 primos a month, which is, I mean, it's something. But I'm going to talk about the difficulty over here because that's the latest gossip on the market. You're going to find people discussing about the Stygian Onslaught, the difficulty that this game mode poses, the repercussions in the future. Honestly, as you can see, I can't do Fearless. I just cannot. I have C0R1 characters, Mawika, Sitlali. I have Janssen C3, and then, I have other characters as well. I am a Velkin spender, but I just cannot. Partly because I haven't, maxed out my talent levels and my weapon levels, and I do not play by rotations and such. So, if I maybe played like that, played like how the game is meant to be played in the meta perspective, I could probably clear those stages, but I'm not gonna stress about it. This one, the menacing one, which is the borderline stuff that most people are aiming for. Casuals are obviously gonna aim up till hard because that's where the primogen stops coming. You just need to finish it at hard and you're good to go. After that, it's easy, but yeah, I mean, you don't really need to focus on it that much. I wouldn't. So I'm gonna do a few runs on the menacing mode, just to try to beat my record. I have a better skirk now. I mean, yeah, let me just change her weapon. I'm using Eshu on her, although no healer, but yeah. So these are the teams that I used, and this boss specifically was quite difficult for me. I don't know why, but it just was. So let's try it again. And I'm going to talk about this event and how it could possibly be upgraded, be better in the future iterations. So over here, like I said, it's a glorified artifact domain. So you just, defeat one boss, get your artifacts and bail out. And the more you do this in the first 10 days or so of this stage, the more you generate some sort of currency which gives you double artifacts after let's say 8 to 10 runs or so. I mean 6 runs, I think. But overall, the RNG and all, it's all the same like you would do in the domain. Sometimes the domains are easier because there are some domains that have an elite boss or a group of normal enemies that are much more easier to clear than whatever this is. But yeah, so over here for the first one, I'm gonna use Mawika team because in the Abyss I always go with that. And honestly, I just approached this stage like the Abyss, and I did not expect that this stage to be tough. Like, I don't know, man. I just didn't expect this to be an absolute souls like experience where where you're fighting millions and millions of HP. And the worst part is there's a cooldown on it, which are like, I don't know, man. I just hate what should I say, timers. I just don't like that. Timers are one thing that I hate in the Abyss. I hate in the Imaginarium Theater, and I don't know, I just hate them everywhere. Also, one other thing that I hate is you don't get energy, so kind of sucks, not gonna lie. Overall, I mean, I probably, maybe I couldn't do this, maybe I can do this, I don't know. See, I absolutely hate that these guys, basically the Talpa is very dodgy in nature. It's kind of like Magu Genki, where you're planning something and this dude has something else on his mind, and it's just weird, man. I don't like that. Whatever. I don't think I can, clear my record. Okay. Improvements. You see, the problem with this is that it's kind of like Abyss Flow 12, and yeah, the glorified artifact domain system. So you get this whatever. Honestly, it just sucks. I'm not gonna do this because it's just tough. I mean, I don't think I can do this on while recording. So I'm just gonna stick over here to my Skirk team, and then I'm just gonna talk about the event and all. Personally, I'm not really fond of such sort of gimmicks, like it's some. I don't know why. I got Calamity Queller though, so that's a good thing. Yeah, having no energy absolutely ruins the way, you approach stages. Because in the Abyss, you're going full on rotations, and now you're here doing random bullshit go. I don't know, man. No. I hate stages where I need to focus. I mean, you can hear the taps on my controller. I'm telling you, I could probably do this. If I level up my characters, like the talents and all of them are on, what should I say, level 7, level 8 talents. I think Mawika's burst is on a level 8 talent, and yeah, I think that's it. Lama. So you see, I mean, I have Skirk's premium team, although only Shenhe has her weapon, but still, it just sucks. You need to sweat a lot, and that is one thing that I don't know. I just don't like sweating a lot in this game. Yep, I mean, it's a fun game mode, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Like, imagine when Imaginarium Theater released, it was fun because it had a different sort of system. It had different buffs. Spiral Abyss always has buffs. This mode has no buff, like nothing. It just gives a good set of characters a max HP boost, an attack boost, a defense boost, but you don't get those juicy buffs like you get in Imaginarium Theater or the Spiral Abyss. Like in Imaginarium Theater, you get a ton of funny buffs with the reactions where you do electro charged or you do overload, and then you have other explosions going on in the screen. Or it's like the Abyss where you have buffs like crit damage buff or energy recharge buff, or when you sprint your damage is increased for 12 seconds or so. And those sort of buffs actually make a huge difference when you're playing the game. In this one, since it's a glorified artifact domain, you don't really get any beneficial buffs, and the HP inflation is through the roof. It is through the roof. So even as a Welkin spender, I mean, doing menacing was difficult. And I do not like the HP inflation. I mean, fine, I've gotten used to the timer system. They're never going to remove the timer no matter how much I requested in the surveys. But they can reduce the HP inflation. Like, I do not want 10 million HP bosses. Like, that's not fun to fight. I'd rather take a 2 million HP boss, but that boss has, your unique gimmicks, like the Hydrotalpa on the Fearless one. It generates a shield that, that can one shot your characters. It can ignore your bursting iframes and all. So those types of gimmicks are fun. But those type of gimmicks are only fun when the HP is low. It's not like, you have 10 million HP bosses and you have those gimmicks on top of that. So like, you're essentially fighting a 15 or 20 million HP boss, because that shield is going to inflate that HP more. Or, you have other bosses with unique gimmicks. I don't know. I just tried the Tulpa and I just called it quits over there. Overall, it's probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I really like this, honestly. Like, I'm not really fond of Stygian Onslaught, and there's weapon skins, there's those feathers. I mean, at first I thought that, maybe this is a good way to get feathers, because at least difficulty 5 should be equivalent to what Spiral Abyss Floor 12 is. Chamber 3. Floor 12, Chamber 3 should have been the difficulty that, difficulty 5 should have had. And that is sadly not the case, because I don't know what they were smoking. I have no idea what they were smoking, because you're on a 2-minute timer. You have no buffs. You start with no energy. You need to do a complete rotation in the first 30 seconds to generate your energy to then get the rotation going. So essentially you only have 90 seconds to clear a boss without buffs, mind you. In the Abyss, technically you also have 90 seconds to clear a chamber, but you have the buffs for that floor, and then you have the domain blessing. Like, you have this blessing of the abyssal moon, so that also makes playing Spiral Abyss easier, because if you have those characters that can utilize the buff well, you're essentially doing true damage, because most of the buffs are true damage. So overall, I feel Abyss is much easier than this, and Imaginarium Theater is still one of the easiest game modes personally, because yeah, because I got a lot of characters. So long time players shouldn't have any trouble with Imaginarium Theater, and if you are having trouble because you're new, don't worry, you'll get there soon enough. Like, I've been playing for 4 years straight, and now I'm finding stuff easy. So yeah, it gets easier with time. But this purple reddish ley line disturbance, for all I care, I'm just gonna do the hard mode whenever it resets, get my 450 primogens, and then bail out. Maybe do difficulty 4 to get one feather, and then farm this, because if you farm this a lot, you're also gonna get one other feather. It's like, you need to get, like, you see the challenge reward, so you need to basically use 1200 resin, so you will get another feather. So effectively you can get 3 feathers over here, but since this one, the difficulty 5 fearless is quite difficult, so like 2 feathers is what you can get. At least that's my opinion. Like, for people who are like me, for people who play for fun, for people who do not sweat at this game, who do not look at perfect rotations and having the utmost cracked artifacts, and then min-maxing stuff and have memorizing every hidden stuff in this game, like this gauge theory and the internal cooldown system, and then the application stuff and this and that. Like, for people who enjoy that kind of stuff, fearless is the way to go for you. But if you're like me, if you really do not care much about this, if you're a semi-casual player, like, you just play for the fun, you play for the rewards, basically the primogens, and you don't really care about this feather stuff, difficulty 4 is a good stopping point, because difficulty 4 is kind of like floor 12 to some extent. And this, you just got to farm this till 1200, and then you can ignore this perfectly. Now, one more thing that I want to talk about is the bosses. They are very restrictive. Like if you look at this, the Tulpa, you need a vaporized team. So it's either Arlecchino teams, Maoika teams, Hu Tao teams, Xiangling, Bennett, Diluc. I mean, you need a good pyro damage dealer, Maoika being your best option. Then you have this dude. Basically, you need Kinich or Arlecchino. And then you have, I mean, this is the worst boss because at least with these two, you have other options. You have the Pyro Traveler over here that can be a good substitute. You can have Fischl, Overload teams, Chevrus, and all. Over here, you also have versatility. You can use Hyper Bloom. In this one, you're locked to using cryo characters. And if you do not have Ayaka or Risley or Skirk, you are effectively screwed. Now, there is the other option of using Night Soul points, which will decrease its resistance greatly, but then you also angering it because when this monster, when this automaton enters its Night Soul state, it gains massive, like, it gains aggression. It gains a huge amount of aggression. So cryo is the way to go. And yeah, I think this is very restrictive. Like overall, domains shouldn't be restricting, like, restrictive in nature. I feel like this is a higher character check than Imaginarium Theater, where you can just, steamroll with level 70 characters, underbuilt and all, because they give you trial characters, and you're mostly playing with reactions there. This one, I have no idea what you're playing with. You start with 0 energy, you have literally no buffs, you have inflated HP. I mean, yeah, this one just isn't it. That is my opinion, and I don't know. Let me know your thoughts below. How far can you clear? I can only do till, what was it? Yeah, 346 seconds on difficulty 4. That's it. That's my cap. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I hate this. And yeah, have a great day. Please subscribe to the channel to support me, and I will get back with another rant video because this stage deserves a rant. All right, goodbye.